Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? This is Robert with Burns Travels, and we're going to be talking about gas regulators for your RV. So stay tuned. All right, I have a gas regulator that went bad, and let me give you the scenario. I'm glad it went bad when it did instead of when I was sleeping. Okay, we went out to the grocery store. I come back to the RV. I hear a hissing sound. This is exactly what I did. I get out of the Jeep and I'm hearing this hissing sound. First I thought it was a tire. Then I'm going down, I keep hearing, I get past this tire and I see it's in where my propane's located. So since I'm on an external tank that you can see right here, I shut it down. Then I still heard it. So then I opened it up, just like this. And you can see where I did my own extended stay. I couldn't find an actual piece, so I put it together. I figured, oh, maybe that's leaking. So I went like this. I checked this first because I just had my propane filled up, so this could have been loose, and it wasn't that. So then I just ran my hand down to here, and I'm like, oh, it's nothing where I'm leaking at, because I still heard it. I go down here and I feel it, and the regulator piece here failed. It did its job. And the cool thing was there really wasn't a lot of residue of propane around this, so it just happened. So with it just happening, I'm so glad because we came back in from going to the grocery store. Like I said, I heard it. I'm glad it happened then, because what if I was sleeping in the middle of the night and propane was going and it was going and it was going, I didn't hear it. Then the furnace kicked on. We could have had a really fun time that night. I'm glad it didn't. So I'm glad we caught it. It happened right as we were pulling up. So that was really great. It was more of a blessing than anything else. So one other thing I found out by looking at this that I'm gonna have to do when I replace it. Let me show you this. Okay, I already had it off. This whole piece I've taken out, not disconnected, just disconnected from here so I can look at it. And looking at it, this piece right here is a little bent like this, because the weight of the regulator is putting tension on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this piece, and of course replace the regulator, this whole unit, and I'm going to put a 2x4 underneath that to keep it kind of level, and I'll just put a screw through the wood right here to hold it down. So this will stay up. See it's loose, and there's no reason for it because it's the tension. So I'll put a 2x4 underneath this, and I'll screw it in here with this, and it will stay here permanently while this extension's on. But that's what I'm going to have to do. Now, the cool thing is the regulator came in last night. Everything seems to break at the worst time, I think, for everybody, or the most inconvenient time, because tonight it's supposed to get in the 20s, high 20s, so it's going to be cold. And all I have is a fireplace heater, also a little portable heater, small one, a little ceramic one. So this came in last night, so I'm putting it in today, getting it all done. That way we can use the furnace. It's not a hard job. It's only going to take me maybe 30 minutes to do the whole thing. But doing the video, it's going to take a little bit longer. So on a scale of 1 to 10 on being hard, it's really not. It's just you got to make sure your connections are tight. You have enough tape that goes onto your threads, and I'll show you that because it's a specific type for propane. Let me show you that. Really not a lot of tools required. It's the same regulator that's on there. The piece that was slightly bent I'm going to replace. This is for propane. The tape here, it's yellow. It's not the white stuff that you would use for plumbing. And these are the tools I'm going to need. This is not going to be hard to do. Like I said, you just have to make sure the connections are tight. And when it's all done, I'll put it back up there. I'll turn the pressure on from the main tank because it's full, and see if there's any leaks. That's the only way you're going to see if there's any leaks. And then I'll take a water bottle with soap in it and I'll spray around all the fittings to make sure it doesn't leak, because if it's leaking, I'll see bubbles coming up. Anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this started. So let's get to work. Hey, I just have a lesson to myself. My camera that I was actually going to film taking the piece apart, I'm just going to do it because the batteries are dead. I tried charging them and they just won't charge. So I'll show you what I'm going to do, and you'll see it when it's on the table and I start working on it. So let's show you this. Okay, the first thing I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take this part here first. Then I'll take this piece off because I'll be able to reuse it. Then I'll disconnect all this. And I'll take this regulator off here. Maybe we'll unscrew this. If not, I'll just put a pair of pliers on it and take it off. And I'll replace this and put this all back together. All right? So that's what I'm going to do.
A few moments later.
All right, as you can see, I already have it off. That took a whole 2 minutes, if that. And this had the hose that goes into the RV, that goes to all the accessories from right here. It had a rubber hose to it, pressure hose, that went to all the accessories like the furnace, stove, etc. And when you do that, you always have 2 wrenches. That way you don't bend other things. So now I just got to take this piece off here and we'll go from there.
5 minutes later.
Look what's coming out of the regulator. As you can see in the old regulator, there's actually liquid propane coming out that's residual from what's inside the regulator and stuff, through the reducer and everything. And then this connection, for when it was spraying out of this hole right here that failed, it had some residual on top of this. So I actually cleaned all that off, so I don't even feel it now. So I just got to put the new one on, and I got to take this piece off so I can put it on the new one that connects to the pressurized rubber hose that's on the RV. So I'll go ahead and do that. And so far, this has only taken me 4 or 5 minutes. It's not going to take long to do all this. It's an easy fix.
Eventually.
All right, I got it all put together. Let me show you what I got to do next on this to help with that weight of the extension going down on something. So let me go ahead and show you that real quick. All right, you can see this is the new piece that I put in. That's the new regulator. I use the old piece, and these are not even about 2 months old, but the weight was bending this one. So I replaced that so I didn't have a crack in the threads. Okay, and then what I did, I measured from here, the bottom of this to this is, what is it, 2 3/4 height, and then it's 4 inches wide. And you see these little holes? I'll put that 2x4 in there, and I'll put these screws through this just to keep this from hanging like that. All right, so let's go ahead and do all that stuff.
15 minutes later.
All right, it is all done. I'm gonna show you what I did, why I did it, and then we're gonna test it, make sure it's on, and then we're gonna test see if there's any leaks, okay, with soapy water. So let's get started on that. All right, here it all is. This is for the external tank that plugs into here. It goes in here. I didn't redo this one. I put a new piece here, whole new regulator, and I put this block in just so it stays level instead of weighting down and bending this right here. I also see, if you see here, it's just slightly bigger. So I just put a slight groove where this bottom of this regulator has like a little pin and it sits in. And then I screwed underneath here 2 screws with washers holding this in, so this ain't going nowhere. So it's all set. So let's go ahead and turn the gas on. All right, so far I don't hear nothing at all. So now what we're gonna do is gonna take soapy water and we're gonna spray every connection. And what we're looking for is bubbles. Just spray right in there. We're looking for bubbles. If bubbles don't come up, one last time. Well, so far it looks fine. I'm going to connect the external tank because I like to have my main tank as a reserve for just in case. So I have this little external 5-gallon tank that lasts us about a month when we use it, and that's fine. Winter's almost done, but I'm gonna hook that up, and then I'm gonna go inside, light the burners, and get gas through them, going through the whole coach and everything, kick on the furnace, all that kind of stuff. But I have no leaks there. If I would have had, you would have saw bubbles coming up in those cracks. So now this is the easy part. We're almost done. Well, there you have it. Everything's working. No leaks. No problems. Fixed a possible potential problem with that, putting that piece of wood in there. I know it looks jerry-rigged, but it's actually screwed in. It's there. Until I can find a bracket that I can bolt up there that looks right, that's going to have to do. I don't have a machine shop that I can make these things with. So thanks for watching. Again, this job on a scale of 1 to 10, it's probably a 6. You just got to make sure your connections are tight. And at the very end, you turn it on. If you don't hear nothing, you take soapy water, spray it over all the fittings just to make sure there is no leaks. You will know if there's a leak, because in the fire department, we had a gas detector and we also had soapy water. And that always found a leak, sometimes better than the gas detector. So again, thanks for watching. Thumbs up, you know what to do. And I appreciate everybody that watches these. All right, everybody, take care, and until the next video.